Welcome to the Marketing Execution Podcast. To begin, many founders assume X growth demands constant original writing, but the data proves otherwise, showing a custom GPT repurposing proven content drives massive engagement. Furthermore, today you waste hours drafting posts that fail to convert. In my experience leading marketing for enterprise tech firms has taught me that strict efficiency wins. To explore this, here's the conversation Tim and I just recorded.
Tune in, listen up, it's marketing time. Bright ideas sparking, blowing your mind. From strategies to big exec dreams, catch the buzz and join the execution. Marketing Convo.
Welcome to the Marketing Execution Podcast. This is the show for tech founders and leaders building B2B products and technologies. We show you how to go further, faster to get the business results you need.
From strategies to big exec dreams, catch the buzz and join the execution. Marketing Convo.
Mark, I've been drowning in content creation these days, and it's not just me. Every founder I talk to is stressed about posting on X, LinkedIn, their newsletter, and we're all basically becoming full-time content machines instead of, running our actual business.
Oh, I feel that. It's exhausting just watching people try to keep up.
Right? So I stumbled across this approach that's all about using custom GPTs to repurpose content. And I don't know, it kind of blew my mind a little bit.
Okay, now you've got my attention because you hit the nail on the head, Tim. Most founders get content repurposing completely wrong. They think it's just about reformatting. Take your blog post, chop it up, throw it on X, done. But that's not how it works.
So what's the actual play here?
Well, there are really three things that matter when you're building a system like this. First, you got to understand that a custom GPT is basically your clone. Second, the magic is in the training, not the prompting. And third, you need to feed it proven content, not just any content.
What do you mean by proven content?
So instead of just asking AI to write new posts, you should ask it to analyze posts that already performed well, posts that got engagement, got shares, actually resonated with people. And then they'd train their custom GPT to understand why those posts worked.
Oh, so you're reverse engineering success instead of just guessing.
You absolutely get it, because most people sit down, spend an hour writing a prompt, get mediocre output, tweak it for another hour, and end up with something that sounds like a robot wrote it.
I mean, we've all been there.
But when you build a custom GPT the right way, you're essentially creating a system that already knows your voice, your style, what works for your audience. You're not starting from scratch every single time.
So walk me through this. How does someone actually set this up? Like, I'm a founder with maybe 2 hours a week for content. What do I do?
Okay, so the first step is gathering your best performing content. And I mean actually looking at the data. What got the most engagement? What drove the most clicks? What made people respond? You need at least, I'd say, 10 to 15 solid examples.
That's not that many, actually.
That's the beauty of it. Once you have those examples, you upload them to your custom GPT as training material. But you don't just dump them in there. You actually write instructions that tell the GPT to analyze the patterns, the sentence structure, the hooks, the way you open and close posts, the emotional triggers you use.
So it's learning your fingerprint, basically.
That's a perfect way to put it. Your content fingerprint. And once it has that, you can feed it any piece of long-form content, a blog post, a podcast transcript, even a video script, and it will repurpose it in your voice.
This is wild. I feel like we talk about AI all the time on the Marketing Execution Podcast, but this feels different. This is actually practical.
Well, and that's what I love about it, because look, I've seen so many founders get burned by AI content tools. They spend money on these platforms that promise to write for them, and everything comes out sounding generic and bland. But this approach flips the script. You're not asking AI to be creative, you're asking it to be consistent.
And consistency is the whole game on X.
It is the whole game. The algorithm rewards people who show up regularly with content that their audience engages with. But most founders can't do that because they're, running a company. So having a system that can take your weekly newsletter and turn it into 5 or 6 tweets that sound like you, that's a game changer.
Okay, but let me push back a little. Doesn't this feel kind of, inauthentic? Like you're not really writing those posts.
That's a fair concern, but here's how I think about it. The ideas are still yours. The insights, the experiences, the perspective, that all comes from you. The GPT is just helping you express those ideas in a format that works for a specific platform. It's not that different from having an editor or a ghostwriter, which, by the way, every major thought leader uses.
Yeah, that's true. Nobody's writing everything themselves.
Nobody. And the other thing is, you still have to review and tweak the output. It's not like you hit a button and walk away. You're still the quality control. You're still making sure it sounds right, that it's accurate, that it represents you well.
So it's more like having a really smart first draft machine.
That's exactly what it is. And honestly, that first draft is usually 80% of the work. If you can skip that and just focus on the final 20%, the polish, the personal touches, you've just saved yourself hours every week.
I love that. Okay, so let's say someone sets this up. What kind of results should they expect? Like, is this actually moving the needle for people?
So there was this one founder who told me they went from posting maybe twice a week to posting daily, and their engagement actually went up because the quality stayed consistent, the voice stayed consistent, and the algorithm noticed.
That's huge.
And the compound effect over time is massive. We're talking about building real audience, real distribution, real leverage for your business, all because you figured out how to work smarter instead of harder.
Mark, that's fascinating. Now, let's talk about what happens when the algorithm changes, because that's the thing that terrifies every founder I know.
Yeah, and I get it. I really do. But here's the thing that most people miss. The algorithm is always changing. That's just the reality of playing on someone else's platform.
Right. We don't own X.
We don't. And that's actually why this approach matters so much. Because when you build a system around proven content, you're not betting on any single algorithm trick. You're betting on what actually resonates with humans.
Say more about that.
Okay, so think about it this way. Algorithms change, but human psychology doesn't. The posts that worked 6 months ago probably worked because they hit an emotional trigger. They made someone feel seen, or challenged their assumptions, or gave them a quick win. That stuff doesn't expire.
So you're building on a foundation that's actually stable.
Exactly. The algorithm is just the delivery mechanism, but the message, the core of what makes content connect, that's timeless. And when your custom GPT is trained on content that genuinely resonated with people, it's learning those deeper patterns, not just what format worked last Tuesday.
Wait, that's a really important distinction though, because I see founders chasing trends all the time. Like, oh, threads are hot right now, or single-line tweets are performing, and they just copy the format without understanding why it worked.
Yes, and then they're confused when it flops for them, because format without substance is empty. It's like putting on a costume and expecting to become the character. The format is just the container. What matters is what's inside.
Okay, so let me make sure I understand this. The real value here isn't just saving time on content creation. It's actually building something more resilient.
That's it. You nailed it. Because look, I know of a company that was posting constantly, like 3 or 4 times a day, using one of those generic AI writing tools, and their engagement was terrible, Flat. Nothing. Then they switch to this custom GPT approach, drop down to once a day, and their numbers tripled.
Less content, better results.
Less content, way better results. And here's why that matters for founders specifically. You don't have infinite time. You can't out-volume the competition, but you can out-relevance them.
Out-relevance. I like that.
It's about being the signal in a sea of noise. And when every post sounds like you, connects like you, delivers value like you, that builds trust over time. Trust that no algorithm change can take away.
So this is really about building a moat around your personal brand.
It is, and I think that's the aha moment here. We talk about moats for products all the time. Network effects, switching costs, all that stuff. But your voice, your perspective, that's a moat too. Nobody else can be you. And when you have a system that amplifies your unique voice at scale, that's a competitive advantage that compounds.
Man, I feel like we need to talk about this more. Because most founders I know treat content like a chore, something they have to do. But you're describing it as an actual strategic asset.
Because it is a strategic asset. Your content is working for you 24/7. It's building relationships while you sleep. It's qualifying leads before they ever hit your calendar. It's establishing credibility before you walk into that investor meeting. That's not a chore, that's leverage.
And the custom GPT makes that leverage actually achievable for someone who's stretched thin.
Right, because the alternative is what? Hire a content team? Most early-stage founders can't afford that. Do it all yourself? You'll burn out in a month. But having a system that captures your voice and helps you show up consistently, that's sustainable. That's scalable.
All right, Mark, you've convinced me on the why. Now, let's talk about how someone actually builds this thing step by step, because I know our listeners are going to want the playbook.
Okay, so step one, you got to find your winners. Go into your X analytics and pull your top performing posts from the last 90 days. I'm talking the ones that actually got engagement, likes, replies, reposts, the whole thing.
How many posts are we talking here?
At least 20. 30 is better. You need enough data for the GPT to spot patterns. And here's the key. Don't just grab random good posts. Look for the ones where people actually replied. That's the signal that you hit a nerve.
So engagement quality matters more than just numbers.
Way more. A post with 50 thoughtful replies beats one with 500 empty likes every time. Those replies tell you something connected on a deeper level.
Okay, wait, I gotta ask. What if someone's just starting out and they don't have 20 winning posts yet?
Great question. Then you borrow. Find 5 to 10 creators in your space whose voice you admire. Study their top posts. Use those as your training data until you build your own library.
That's smart. You're basically reverse engineering what works in your niche.
Exactly. And there's no shame in it. Everyone learns by studying the greats first.
All right, so we've got our winning posts. What's next?
Step 2 is building the actual custom GPT. You go into Chat GPT, hit the Create button, and start with a clear instruction set. Tell it exactly what you want. Something like, you are a short-form content writer who creates posts in my voice for X.
Keep it simple.
Super simple at first. Then you upload those winning posts as your knowledge base. This is where the magic happens. The GPT starts learning your patterns, your sentence length, your hooks, the way you structure ideas.
So it's not just generic AI writing anymore.
Not even close. It becomes your writing assistant. I saw a SaaS founder do this last year. She uploaded 30 of her best posts, and within a week, the GPT was producing drafts that her audience couldn't tell apart from her original work.
That's wild.
And here's step 3. You gotta give it guardrails. Tell the GPT what to avoid. No hashtags, no emojis unless you use them, no corporate speak. Whatever your rules are, spell them out.
So you're basically programming your preferences into the system.
Yes, and this is where most people mess up. They build the GPT but skip the guardrails. Then they wonder why the output feels off.
Makes sense. The more specific you are, the better the results.
Every single time. I tell founders to write out their rules like they're training a new hire. Be explicit, be detailed. The GPT can't read your mind.
Okay, so now we've got this custom GPT built and trained. How do we actually use it day to day?
This is the fun part. You feed it a topic or a rough idea, and it spits back drafts in your voice. But here's the trick. Never post the first draft. Treat it like a starting point, not a finished product.
So there's still a human layer.
Always. The GPT gets you 80% there. You add the final 20%. That's where your personality shines through. That's what makes it authentic.
I love that framing. It's a collaboration, not a replacement.
That's exactly right. And the founders who get this see their posting consistency go through the roof. One guy I know went from posting twice a week to daily. Same time investment, triple the output.
Because the hard part, the blank page problem, is solved.
Gone. You're never starting from zero anymore. You've got a creative partner that knows your voice and can riff on any topic you throw at it.
All right, Mark, this has been incredibly practical. Before we wrap up, can you pull all of this together for our listeners?
All right, we started by talking about the real problem founders face. You're drowning in content demands while trying to run a company. The solution isn't working harder. It's building a system that captures your voice. You do that by gathering your top performing posts, the ones that actually got people to reply and engage. Then you build a custom GPT and train it on those winners. You add guardrails so it knows your rules, and then you use it as a creative partner, not a replacement. The GPT handles the blank page problem and gets you 80% there. You add the final 20% to keep it authentic. This isn't about gaming algorithms. It's about building on what actually resonates with humans. Your voice becomes your moat. Your content becomes leverage that works for you around the clock.
Mark, after everything we've covered today, what's the one thing you really hope people walk away remembering?
Here it is. Your unique perspective is the only thing AI can never replace. Stop trying to create more content and start building systems that amplify what already makes you, you. That's the real unlock.
The Marketing Execution Podcast is produced by Growth Stage Marketing. We are on a mission to see your company reach wild success using marketing pods.
Too big, accept dreams. Catch the buzz and join the execution. Marketing Convo.
Thank you for listening and being a part of the marketing execution movement and community. To learn how growth stage marketing clients reach more buyers and drive business impact, go to growthstage.marketing. That's growthstage.marketing.